Minglawa and welcome to MI Radio's Myanmar Today. I'm Michelle with the recent news and reports from around Myanmar. Thoracisin got the latest reports on State Counsellor stresses importance of cooperation to contain spread of COVID-19. Thoracisin will give us all the details on the bill on foreign exchange management submitted to Pyithu Hluttaw. Pyithu also has the detail on Amyotha Hluttaw representatives discuss the decline of print media in Myanmar. Myanmar and Thoracisin will have the full story on MRF experts to earn more foreign exchange from rice export. All of these reports will be coming up on Myanmar Today, but for now, let's take a look at what's happening in local news. Amyotha Hluttaw on Tuesday held its 11th-day meeting and with questions of Member of Parliament to the Ministry of Health and Sports, the Ministry of Information, the Ministry of Agriculture, Livestock and Irrigation, the Ministry of Religious Affairs and Culture, and the Ministry of Office of the Union Government. The 11th-day meeting also approved the report on activities of Farmers Affairs Committee and the report on activities of Committee on Immigration and Myanmar Internet and Migrant Workers. The Member of Parliament from Mon State Constituency 4 raised a question whether the government has a plan to build a staff housing for the sub-rural health center in Sapala village in Counsellor Township, Mon State in the 2020 to 2021 financial year. Deputy Minister for Health and Sports, Dr. Myale Sain, replied that there was no budget for the project for 2020 to 2021 financial year, but a budget to build the staff housing will be requested to add to the 2021 to 2022 financial year. MP Uyatod from Sakai Region Constituency 5 said that privately owned print media have suffered financial losses and made a question how the government will support privately owned printed media. The Deputy Minister for Information, Latun, replied that print media across the world also suffer a downturn because of the popularity of online media. During the parliamentary section, Amyotha Hluttaw Speaker Manwin Kainthan announced that Pyithu Hluttaw officially agreed the bill amending the 1959 Defense Services Act approved by and sent from Amyotha Hluttaw. After more new COVID-19 confirmed cases were found in Rakhine State, public awareness of COVID-19 disease has been accelerated across the country to prevent the possible second wave outbreak. In cooperation with bus lines, Yangon Region Transport Authority conducted mask campaign to raise the public awareness of COVID-19 disease at Ledan Junction in Yangon on 25th August. Joint Secretary YRTA Laon said, quote, "Today is the second day of the campaign. We're trying to make such kind of campaign every week to raise the awareness among the public. Although the social distancing is very important to prevent the disease, we can't keep social distance on the daily routine buses as we expect. That's why all commuters have to wear masks as much as possible." End quote. At the same day, the mask campaigns are being conducted at 13 different places in Yangon, including Ledan Junction, the Kimya Park, City Hall Bus Stop, 7 and 8 Junction in Dagong Myotit North, and Sanpyak Market, Minglado, and Danlin. The officials from YRTA distributed the masks and the pamphlets to the public, including bus drivers, and instructed the commuters on the buses to follow the rules issued by the Ministry of Health and Sports. The second group of medical doctors and nurses volunteered to combat COVID-19 disease in Rakhine State arrived in Sidri Township by special flight of Myanmar National Airlines on Tuesday morning. They were welcomed by Rakhine State Social Affairs Minister Dr. Chenta, State Public Health and Medical Services Officer Dr. Saiwan Zolai, Sidri Public Hospital Superintendent Dr. Zolai, and officials at the airport. The health workers group included 3 assistant doctors, 1 dentist, and 1 senior nurse for public health, and 5 senior nurses and 12 nurses. The ministry will also arrange transportations for more medical volunteers who want to drive the control measures against the pandemic. The special flight also carried COVID-19 medicines and medical supplies. Myanmar nationals continue to return from Thailand from 6 a.m. to 12 p.m. on the 25th of August. A total of 268 persons returned through the number 2 Thai-Myanmar friendship bridge in Myawaddy, Kayin State. Information and Public Relations Departments reported. Officials checked their health condition and fulfill requirements. The returnees are 170 men and 98 women from different regions and states. All the returnees are put into the 21-day quarantine for COVID-19 prevention and control. That's all with the local news. And now we'll move on to our first report. State Counsellor Aung San Suu Kyi delivered a televised message to the citizens, reporting the latest situations of COVID-19 outbreak in Rakhine State on 24th August. She called for the participation of the authorities concerned of the respective states and regions, and the citizens to combat the spread together, as the cooperation is the key to curb the virus spread.
Since the first local transmission case was found in Sidri of Rakhine State on 16 August, anxieties and concerns have risen among the residents of the Rakhine State. To report the latest situation of Rakhine State, where the local transmission occurs, State Counsellor Aung San Suu Kyi, in her capacity as the chairperson of the National Level Central Committee on Prevention, Control and Treatment of COVID-19, delivered a televised speech on 24th August.
အထူးကျန်းမာရေးဆောင်ရှောက်မှုတွေကိုစစ်တွေနဲ့ဒီသက်ဆိုင်ရာဒေသတွေအတွက်ကျွန်တော်တို့စီစဉ်ထားပါတယ်
We have made arrangements to provide special healthcare and support to Sidri and adjacent areas. The Ministry of Health and Sports has made very careful arrangements. We will conduct medical checkups on the people in Sidri and other townships which might be impacted by the infection spread. We will also provide medical treatment. We will do all that is necessary. We have already adopted special programs. It is to gain public trust by keeping the people informed.
Most of the positive patients show infections from the market and the virus spreads faster. A stay-at-home order was imposed on Sidri, and anyone coming back from Rakhine to the respective regions and states have to be put into quarantine and be tested if necessary.
ရခိုင်ပြည်နယ်ကတချို့ပြည်သူတွေကနေပြီးတော့ပြင်ပကိုထွက်ချင်ကြတယ်
At this time, some people in Rakhine State wish to leave the state. They think they will have more safety outside of the state. Once you are infected, it does not matter where you go. The infection will be carried by you. If you remain in Rakhine State, remain within Sidri, and you remain in the infected area. If you are infected, it will be quicker to detect the virus. Treatment could be given. The COVID virus is not incurable. The earlier this virus is detected, the more effective treatment is provided. At the present moment, the borders between states and regions have been closed. The reason we do not want the people from Sidri and from Rakhine State to go out to other areas is that we do not want the virus to spread. All respective regions and states will have to participate effectively in these closures. Closures mean giving protection. I have estimated that the infection spread has started from 16th of August. After that, I have heard that there were some people who went from Sidri to Yangon by plane. If that type of accident has occurred, please contact the nearest health centers. After contacting this, please participate in a tracking interview where you will be asked where you have been and where you have traveled. If needed, they will give you medical treatment immediately.
Anyone who thinks they have been in close contact with the people who have been infected are requested to notify their nearest medical centers, and the citizens are to be careful of visiting strangers who may have come from restricted regions and to report to the authorities as well.
ရှောင်းတခင်ပေါ့နော်ကျွန်တော်တို့ပြည်သူလူထုတွေတွိုင်းလာရင်းနဲ့စစ်ဆေးဖို့လုပ်တယ်
We have designated plans to make surprise inspections in Sidri, and I urge you to comply with it willingly. There is no issue in being tested, but it will be a significant problem if an infected person goes unchecked. We will give everyone equal treatment, so don't worry too much. The important thing is for us to work together. We must keep a calm head and follow the guidelines of the Ministry of Health and Sports.
The medical professionals who proposed to work in the state were assigned and sent by the relief flight. The voluntary groups are participating in necessary aspects and raising public awareness. The Ministry of Health and Sports keep issuing necessary health guidelines.
တနိုင်ငံလုံးမှာ COVID ဒုတိယလိုက်မဖြစ်အောင်လို့ကျမတို့အားလုံးရဲ့ပူးပေါင်းဆောင်ရွက်ခြင်းအပြင်ဒီဟာကိုကျမတို့ဟန်တာ
We can all work together to prevent the surge of the second wave in our country. We will protect Rakhine State in addition to the other regions in our nation. Cooperation is the key. We choose neither a faith nor an ethnicity in doing this. We shall give equal assistance to all the people living in the country. I wish for all the citizens to develop this mindset and help each other. In solving the problems of our country, there has been no discrimination with respect to religion or race. All our union citizens should show that they have the desire to protect and take care of all those who are living within the borders of our union.
That's the report on State Counsellor stresses importance of cooperation to contain the spread of the COVID-19. Banks and Monetary Affairs Development Committee of Pyithu Hluttaw and the Bill Committee of Pyithu Hluttaw presented the Bill on Foreign Exchange Management to the Hluttaw's 11th day of 17 regular session. The bill was developed in order to adopt a law that is in the accord with the current circumstances. The Hluttaw called for the representatives to discuss the bill in the upcoming sections.
On the 11th day of second Pyithu Hluttaw 17 regular session, Banks and Monetary Affairs Development Committee of the Pyithu Hluttaw submitted the bill on foreign exchange management. The current foreign exchange management law was enacted in 2012 and it was amended in 2015. Udintonai, Secretary of Banks and Monetary Affairs Development Committee, said,
ကျွန်တော်တို့နိုင်ငံရဲ့နိုင်ငံခြားသုံးငွေစီမံခန့်ခွဲရေးနဲ့ဆက်လင်းတဲ့ကိစ္စရပ်တွေကို It is found
out that the latest updated version of the foreign exchange management law has many weaknesses to effectively support the current foreign exchange management in the country. Especially, there are some people who speculate dollar fluctuations with the purpose of seeking own benefit, who make the currency market unstable by abusing the weaknesses of the law and who did not report the income from foreign export. After the several discussions between the Central Bank of Myanmar and our committee, the new bill was developed. As the special features of the bill, there are clearer and more perfect provisions concerning any forms of gold which are related to the foreign exchange. Provisions for holding an opening account for foreign currency, detailed expressions for license of foreign currency enterprises. Moreover, there will be more practical punishments for offenses against the law. The Foreign Exchange Department of the Central Bank of Myanmar provides different licenses to allow banks to conduct foreign exchange businesses, to allow selling, buying, and exchange of foreign currency, and also to allow government departments, cooperatives, and individuals to conduct foreign exchange, which have a business license. Ucho Solin, Secretary of the Pyithu Hluttaw's Bay Committee, also submitted the findings of the committee for further discussions.
Pyithu Hluttaw ဗန်များနဲ့ငွေကြေးဆိုင်ရာဖွံ့ဖြိုးတိုးတက်ရေးကော်မတီဟာနိုင်ငံခြားသုံးငွေစီမံခန့်ခွဲမှုဥပဒေကြမ်းကိုအောက်ပါရည်ရွယ်ချက်၃ချက်ဖြင့်
It was found out that Banks and Monetary Affairs Development Committee of Pyithu Hluttaw submitted the bill on foreign exchange management based on the aims of having better foreign exchange management, the development of the socio-economy of the country, and comprehensive foreign economic communication and cooperation. The Pyithu Hluttaw's Bill Committee have meetings for the Bill on Foreign Exchange Management with Citizen Fundamental Rights Committee and Banks and Monetary Affairs Development Committee of the Pyithu Hluttaw, the Central Bank of Myanmar, and the Office of the Union Attorney General. The findings and corrections have already been distributed to the Hluttaw representatives.
စီစစ်လေးလာတွေ့ရှိချက်နဲ့ပြင်ဆင်ရန်တင်ပြချက်များကိုလည်းပဲပြည်သူ့လွှတ်တော်ကိုယ်စားလှယ်များထံဖြန့်ဝေထားပြီးဖြစ်ပါတယ်
The bill can give benefits in being more specific and effective in managing and promoting the development of foreign exchange in Myanmar. It is aimed to enhance the authority of the Central Bank of Myanmar to monitor, record, and take actions in controlling the foreign currency market and protecting the devaluation of the local currency. News reported by Dora Susan from Myanmar International Radio.
That's the report on Bill on Foreign Exchange Management submitted to Pyithu Hluttaw. Stay with us as we bring you more reports on Myanmar Today. The second Amyotha Hluttaw held the 11th-day meeting of its 17th regular section on Tuesday, 25th of August in Naypyidaw. At the section, the Hluttaw representative raised a question about a planning to prevent the decline and recoveries of the print media in the industry.
According to the 2014 Printing and Publishing Law, there are 47 newspapers, 589 journals, and 499 magazines, over 1,753 media publishers, 309 online news agencies have been permitted by the Ministry of Information until the end of July in 2020. At the same time, online news agencies is increasing to 321 ones. The sudden digital revolution and mobile phone revolution are widely spread in the world. The information technology is going to be more developed in the future. In fact, the print media is going to suffer greater losses than now. Even in case of COVID-19, the restriction on the public makes the decline of the print media in international speedily. The second Amyotha Hluttaw held the 11th-day meeting of its 17th regular section on Tuesday, 25th of August in Naypyidaw. At the session, Hluttaw representatives from Sakai Region Constituency 5 raised a question about the plan to prevent the declination and the recovery of the print media in the industry.
ကျွန်တော်မေးလို့တဲ့မေးခွန်းကတော့ဒီနေ့အချိန်မှာသတင်းစာဂျာနယ်မဂ္ဂဇင်းစတဲ့ပုံနှိပ်မီဒီယာတွေဟာဈေးကွက်မှာအရှုံးပေါ်နေပြီးတော့ဆက်လက်ထုတ်ဝေရန်မတတ်နိုင်တော့ပဲ
Print media such as newspapers, journals, and magazines are at a loss in the market and they are shutting down one after another because they can't keep at the content. So the government needs to consider how to re-establish the print media. Print media, especially private newspapers, journals, and magazines, distribute news in time, educate people, and they take part in exposing injustices since our country was fighting for independence. However, social networks and online media appear recently, and the expenses of media production are getting higher, so that the private print media are shutting down one by one. As the online media and social networks are developing, there are disadvantages like cyberbullying and fake news. The government can help the print media by reducing the tax of printing equipment, machines, and imported items concerning print industry.
The income, which is the main support for a business of a private print media, is depending on the rate of sales and the investments displayed on the newspaper pages. The income grossing from the selling of newspaper is enormously decreasing. The commercial advertisements are also moving to online media whose audience became widespread, low cost in advertising, but less in restrictions. So the print media is losing the income growth from the advertisement also. As a result, the print media had stopped its publishing one after another. Following the section, Amyotha Hluttaw, Deputy Minister of the Ministry of Information, responded to the asterisk mark questions asked by the Hluttaw representative.
အခြားတစ်ဖက်မှာ digital နည်းပညာအခြေခံတဲ့ online media ခေါ် new media အသစ်များရဲ့အခန်းကဏ္ဍဟာ
On the other hand, the role of new media such as online media is widely spreading and it will also continue its importance. For example, the number of people who are using Facebook, the most popular social media platform in Myanmar, has enormously increased from 22 million to 28 million during January 2020 to July 2020. Most of the print media in Indonesia has already transformed into new media, the online platform. Some are running their publishing in printed form and also the digital form at the same time. There are also some media running their new media successfully in Myanmar, and the print media in Myanmar are also transforming into new media platform, and so do the state-owned media. I'd like to suggest that transforming and surviving as a new media is the only practical and suitable way to the future development of media sector in Myanmar.
Starting from 2013, the mobile phone revolution had started in Myanmar, and the impressive expansion of internet use has left the difficulties for private media, especially the print one. The print media in the international aspect is also facing this common challenge, and so is Myanmar.
That's a report on Amyotha Hluttaw. Representatives discuss decline of print media in Myanmar. Myanmar is expecting to export more rice to the international market to earn more foreign income, but Myanmar Rice Federation said that it will focus on quality of the rice to have higher price instead of exporting more tons of rice. For 2019 to 2020 fiscal year, as of July, over 2.3 million tons of rice have been exported, which is worth of nearly $700 million.
The government, the relevant ministries, and Myanmar Rice Federation (MRF) are working to enhance the rice export sector. It was able to export more rice during the outbreak of COVID-19, and until July of this fiscal year, over 2.3 million tons of rice and broken rice have already been exported to the international market, which is worth of nearly $700 million. U Ye-min, chairman of Myanmar Rice Federation, explained more information.
မေလာဆန်းလောက်ကနေစပြီးကျွန်တော်တို့ပြန်လုပ်ခဲ့ပါတယ်။ April လမှာတော့ကျွန်တော်တို့ဒါရပ်ထားတဲ့အနေအထားဖြစ်ပါတယ်။
In April, the export was suspended and it has returned to operation at the beginning of May. It was able to export to China through border gates, as well as to other countries through waterway. This year, Myanmar is exporting rice and broken rice to 66 foreign countries. Despite the outbreak of COVID-19, over 2.3 million tons of rice have already been exported. So it can be expected to reach the targeted volume of 2.4 million tons. This year has fetched over $100 million, more than the income of last year from export. Until August, we have already earned over $700 million from rice export. We expect to earn about $800 million at the end of this fiscal year.
The rice export volume accounts for 63% of total export, and the broken rice export volume is 37% according to the data released by the MRF until the July of this fiscal year. 15% of export volume goes through the product trade and the remaining through overseas trade. The MRF is expecting to increase 10% of export annually. Ulumo Myanmar, General Secretary of MRF, also said.
ကျွန်တော်တို့ဒါသက်ဆိုင်ရာဝန်ကြီးဌာနများနဲ့မြန်မာနိုင်ငံစံသဘာအသင်းချုပ်သက်ဆိုင်ရာစံသက်အသင်းများစံကုန်တဲ့အသင်းများနဲ့ပူးပေါင်းမှုတော့
The relevant ministries, MRF, rice merchants and rice millers collaborate together to raise awareness and increase the rice production and to perform contract farming. Moreover, we were able to export the quality rice to earn more. In the international market previously, the export went to 50 countries, but this year, we were able to export to 66 countries. Mainly, we export to Africa, Malaysia, Indonesia, and China. Later, we are able to export rice and broken rice to China legally in accord with official certificates, including quality check.
Previously, only 11 companies exported rice to China, and now 43 companies have been approved to export to China. According to the data until July of the fiscal year, China consumed the most rice export volume and Belgium imported the most broken rice volume from Myanmar. For both rice and broken rice export, Africa market consumes 30% of the total export and China 28%.
တန်ချိန်အပြင်တိုးတက်မှုတဲ့ကျွန်တော်တို့ကဝင်ငွေအပြင်တိုးတက်မှုပေါ့နော်ကျွန်တော်တို့ကဟိုတိုင်းမြင့်စံတွေပို့မယ်
We will focus on an increase in income rather than that in tons. We will export more quality rice and new paddy strain. We will work for a qualitative move. We have the target to earn around $1,000 million from the current income of $700 to $800 million. It is necessary for the local authorities, farmers, and private sectors to work together.
As of July of 2019-2020 fiscal years, the price of white rice at the international market ranges from $330 to $420 per metric ton, broken rice price from $220 to $310, parboiled rice from $215 to $485, Bosan rice from $550 to $575, Ngaseng rice from $390 to $440, glutinous rice from $500 to $670.
That's the report on MRF expects to earn more foreign exchange from rice export. And that's all we have for today's report. And it's time to check on some international news here on Myanmar Today. Chief Executive of Hong Kong Special Administrative Region Carrie Lam on Tuesday held a sparse critical of the massive COVID-19 testing program due to begin on September 1st, describing their statements as politically motivated. Some medical experts are attempting to smear the central government by publicly saying they don't support the testing scheme. Lam said at a press conference, alleging their comments were politically motivated. The HKSAR on Tuesday reported 19 new COVID-19 cases in the past 24 hours, of which 16 were local transmissions. The Asian financial hub saw the third wave of the outbreak following the recurrence of the local infections on July 5th.
3-year-old man had made a recovery back in April, but tested positive again after returning from the UK and Spain. Researchers have sequenced the two virus strains and found different genomes. Scientists say this proves that immunity for coronavirus infection is not lifelong. Hong Kong on Monday reported 9 new cases. This was the first time new cases dropped to the single digits since early July. This morning, the city's leader, Carrie Lam, spoke to the press about government efforts to tackle the virus, including community testing.
The goal is to allow members of the public who want to take the test to be tested. We're not going to compel anyone to take the test. We're not going to impose any condition or consequence for taking the test or failure to take the test. For the current social distancing measures, they are the most stringent since the epidemic emergence, exactly because we still have cases of unknown source of infection and clusters. That shows there is still silent transmission in the community.
South Korean pupils in Seoul and its surrounding areas will return to full remote learning, as the country has lately experienced a resurgence of the novel coronavirus and concerns are growing over school safety. All school children, including those in kindergartens in Seoul, Incheon, and Gyeonggi province, will stay at home and take online classes starting Wednesday until September 11. As the preventive measures to slow the spread of the highly infectious virus, Yoo On-hae, the country's education minister, announced on Tuesday morning. The only exception is for the senior students in their final year of high school, who are due to take crucial university entrance exams in early December. With most of the new cases centered in the densely populated capital area, however, health authorities say the country is on the brink of the nationwide outbreak and have called the people to stay home and limit travel. China's State Counsellor and Foreign Minister Wang Yi on Tuesday said the relations between China and Italy have withstood the test of the COVID-19 pandemic. One made the remark at a press briefing on Rome with Italian Foreign Minister Luigi Di Maio after the meeting. One said China's support to Italy during the pandemic had nothing to do with the politics, and there was no self-interest involved. Speaking to reporters, Di Maio called China an indispensable partner in the world and vowed to enhance the cooperation with China on the fight against COVID-19 and beyond in future. Wang is currently on a trip to 5 European countries, with Italy being his first stop. That is his first overseas visit since the COVID-19 pandemic.
China and Italy are both countries with a responsibility for world peace and stability. Thus, we should vigorously defend multilateralism and free trade and maintain a stable global industrial supply chain. Italy will host the G20 next year. China will fully support.
我们都是对世界和平与发展负有责任的大国。
China and Italy are both countries with a responsibility for world peace and stability. Thus, we should vigorously defend multilateralism and free trade and maintain a stable global industrial supply chain. Italy will host the G20 next year. China will fully support Italy's work and make positive contributions to moving forward with global governance reforms after the pandemic and achieving an early recovery of the world economy.
Italy has always been a bridge of cooperation between the East and the West. We respect all our allies. This year marks the 59th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations between our two countries. We will sincerely promote comprehensive cooperation in culture, the economy, and trade. We have a long history of bilateral cooperation, and I believe it will have a bright future.
Beijing said China and Europe both upheld solidarity in facing the pandemic, reviving the world economy, and protecting multilateralism. Wang Yi will be visiting 5 European nations in the coming days. His next stop will be the Netherlands.
And that's all we have for today. Thank you very much for joining me on Myanmar Today. My name is Michelle. Have a good day. See you next time.